Let's just start, I think, boys. Yeah. So in case it wasn't obvious, today I'm just going to look over some of my Discord hot takes. So I asked some of my Discord community and some other Discord communities as well what their hottest takes are on the finals. So I'm going to rate these with either a mild take or a hot take. So let's get into it, boys. Model has never been bad, just always played wrong. I agree to an extent. Model was always good, but there was always something better than model, so people didn't really look at the model. For example, FCAR for the season 1 was like crazy, so no one was even going to touch model. And season 2, there were a couple other guns that were just like, I think AK was pretty strong back then. It wasn't bursty meta back then. It was like season 3 where model started coming into its own. It never got nerfed, it never got buffed. It was sitting in its own little pocket dimension, and it was when everything else got nerfed that it was allowed to roam free. But nowadays, model, bro, it's bad. It's horrible. I've tried playing it a few times. Model is just not it anymore. I'd say it's a hot take for the post nerf, but a mild take pre-nerf. Fuck melee assist, throw that in the bin. I saw this one and I had a big question mark. I was like, this feels like you're throwing shade at the wrong mechanic. But I looked into it. She did specify what she meant, and what she means is melee assist has a lunge mechanic that for some reason inches you a little bit closer than normal. I never knew this. I thought it was just auto tracking, but that's because I play sword. Sword doesn't have a lunge effect with the melee assist, but sledge does. And I think dual blades has it and probably a couple other things, but sword doesn't have it. So I never noticed this. But in knowing this, it's a little fucky. It literally gives you a speed boost. So if you're playing Sledge and you're playing Riot and you're playing dual blades and all that, I recommend turning aim assist on for now because it gives you a slight lunge. Don't know why, but it does. So not exactly a hot take because it's a bit strange that turning off aim assist basically nerfs itself. So I love this one. Players who hate melee just want to play COD with bounce pads and should go find another game. That's the mildest take, in my opinion. That's the mildest take you could ever ask for. I think all the finals players that want melee gone really don't want to play the finals, bro. The finals is supposed to be this game where everything has a chance of doing something. Like, for instance, a tiny light with a tiny dagger can beat a gigantic heavy with a minigun, right? So that... This game is supposed to be wacky and fun. People that think that melee shouldn't be in it are the same kind of people that just came from Call of Duty. I agree with that. So they should go play Call of Duty, literally. I'm sorry there's no bounce pads in Call of Duty, but go play Call of Duty. I'm sure you'll have more fun there. There's no melee, and if there is, it ain't viable, trust me. Nerf aim assist. Woo! As you can see, 4 of my Discord patrons disagree with this man, and I'm gonna have to disagree as well. Aim assist at one point was really busted and did need a nerf, but it did get a nerf. And it's not as bad as it was. But in my opinion, being on a controller is a nerf in on itself in terms of movement. I feel like on a keyboard and mouse, you have way more control over your guy than you ever would with a controller. I feel like a controller is just too limiting in your maneuverability. So that alone, even if they had a stronger aim assist, it makes it feel a little more balanced when you're playing a controller. That's why the aim assist exists, is because controller just doesn't have the movement that a keyboard and mouse does. And in the movement shooter, I feel like that's just way more prevalent than aim assist. I don't know if he was saying this for shits and gigs, but this one's crazy, man. Goo gun is the best specialization on heavy. This is a hot take. This is spicy, man. This is spicy. All 3 other specializations are better than Goo gun. There was a time though, I thought Goo gun had a lot of potential. My brain was kind of working in the thought process of Fortnite. It's also got the ability to stun other players. That's really cool. But when you start playing Goo gun, you start realizing the flaws in this weapon. When you shoot Goo to stun lock other players, unless you're super accurate, you're actually slowly building blocks around the place, which makes it very hard for a heavy to move around. Therefore, it could just be a huge detriment to you anyway. On top of that, there is a better stun specialization on heavy now by 20-fold. The Winch Claw is super crazy strong, and it has been buffed a couple times now. There is no reason to ever use Goo gun, in my opinion. Plus, on top of that, if you want to use it for its wall building aspects, you got Goonade. That's just instant, and it makes a straight wall anyway. You got Mesh Shield if you want to protect your teammates. Goo gun tries to be everything, and then it fails to be anything good. That's my opinion. It tries to do it, but it fails. Here's my take. Bow just takes more skill. Change my mind. Okay, my take. Mild take. I'm a bow main. I'm a rev main. I play all the hard weapons, and sword was a part of that. It's now way harder. But yeah, bow takes a lot of skill, man. It is projectile. It deals less damage than a sniper rifle shot, which is hit scan at 40 meters. It requires quite a lot of brain power to actually make the thing consistently good and work. So yeah, bow is very skill heavy, and in my opinion is like the epitome of a perfect light weapon. Honestly, I love bow to death and back. I don't want it to be touched. I don't want it to get nerfed, buffed, anything. It's perfect where it is, man. Just leave my little bow alone. The finals should not get as popular as Overwatch or COD. Obviously should be more popular now, but not as popular as those two. I fear what big streamers will be capable of. This is a pretty hot take, man. The finals to me is the epitome of... The craziest thing about the finals is that it is the greatest FPS game that's ever existed, and no one knows about it. That is what's crazy about it. Everyone knows about Overwatch. Everyone knows about COD. Everyone knows about Overwatch because Big Butt and Big Booba. And everyone knows about COD because it's been around for like 20 years. But because Finals is new and it's brought out a new game mode, a new concept, a new everything. One, it's intimidating for new players that don't want to learn things. And two, the marketing for the game was just bad, man. And it still is. They hot dropped it without a release date. They just dropped it randomly after E3 or something. I didn't know about it till like a week after it came out, and a lot of people didn't. If you look at a lot of other games that come out, their initial player base is usually a lot larger than what the finals started with. The finals all-time peak does not even beat Apex Legends on their 24-hour peak. I'm talking about today. Today they got 250,000 players playing their game. I don't even know anyone that plays Apex Legends anymore. And that's crazy to me. 250,000 still play at a peak Apex Legends. That's got to mean millions play this game daily. And Finals hasn't even reached that in a all-time. This game absolutely deserves to be better than Overwatch, especially Overwatch, yuck, and COD. This game is the epitome of casual fun. So yeah, hot take, very hot take. Do not like that take. I'm burning in the sun. That's how much this take is hot. Everyone's regen should be as quick as lights. Absolutely not. It was like that in Season 1. Season 1, everyone had the same regen time, I think, or it was very, very close. Light absolutely needs that quick regen. It is a flanking class. It will take damage, and then it will not be able to make it back to the medium majority of the time to heal. So it needs that 7 seconds to dip, run around, flank again, be fully healed. Medium and heavy don't need that. They have 350, 250 HP. They have a lot of health to work with to begin with. And then they've got kit to make sure that they live longer, so that they do not need that at all. They have kit that heals them, and they have kit that hides them so that they can heal. God, no. Please, for the love of God, do not ever do this. This would be the scariest thing for a heavy to take 7 seconds and then heal. That's insane. No thanks. No thanks. Very hot take. Never do this. This is horrid. Yeah, we saw this one coming, right? The sword deserved the nerf. No. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I do not agree with this take. For the health of the casual experience, I could see that sword maybe needed something. The biggest problem about sword is that in high ranks, it wasn't that great. In low ranks, it dominated. This was the problem with sword. And it's very hard to balance something where in high, it does basically nothing. And in low, it does a lot, right? I can't tell you what the right balancing tool was, but 105 damage on lunge just isn't it. At the very least, it makes it impossible to deal with other lights. And that alone just blows, bro. Every other light can deal with every other light can deal with sword way easier than a sword can deal with a light. Didn't deserve this nerf, so hot take. There's too many weapons which take too much health too quickly. Shotguns, swords, semi-auto rifles, it's not fun getting insta-bursted. Also, dash shouldn't have invincibility frames whatsoever. There's a lot to unpack here. Hot take, first of all. Invis doesn't have invincibility frames. I don't know where people get this from. You're just fast. That's it. Okay, there is no invincibility frames. I want people to know that. I've played Dash longer than probably anyone ever. I don't even have Invis and Grapple fully leveled yet. I still only play Dash. I'm telling you now, there's no invincibility frames. If there was, I'd be abusing it. Secondly, insta-burst weapons like shotguns and sword and semi-auto rifles, I don't know why that's on the list, are needed. Shotguns and swords are supposed to do a lot of damage at close range. It just so happens that a lot of the maps are centered around buildings with closed-in walls that make shotguns and swords more viable. That's not really the fault of the weapon, it's more the fault of the map, I guess. But there's a lot of areas in, like, say for Monaco. Yes, there's buildings that do well with sword and shotgun, but if you get an outside point that's sitting on the outskirts of the map with no cover other than trees, you're not going to have a great time. So burst weapons, in my opinion, are perfectly fine for the game. They just need to be fixed and buffed and nerfed in ways where it's not so oppressive, like the double barrel. The nukes were good for the game and needed to be balanced, not removed. I heavily disagree. I do understand that it's a lot of fun to throw a barrel at someone in the game with things attached to it and then explode it in their face. That is fun, but, and heavy on the butt, it was not fun to be able to do that and you literally could wipe a team. That felt not just strong, but busted, man. It was so busted. In terms of balancing, I really don't know what else they could have done. If they lowered the damage a heap on the C4 and the breach charge and the mines so that nukes could work better and not destroy teams but deal a decent amount of damage, then you've just made a gadget that's built around the nuke itself, and that feels a bit wrong. So I don't think they could have balanced it. I think removing it was the only option. Technically, you can still use nukes, you just can't throw them anymore. In my opinion, that's possibly the best way to have done it, because that way you've got gadgets that still work and aren't super nerfed for the sake of using it on the nuke itself. There's a possibility they could have, I don't know if this was possible, but they could have recognized that a gadget was on a barrel or something and reduced the damage on it once it's on the barrel, but that seems like a lot of work when you could just remove it. Charge and slam shouldn't do damage, or 50 damage each juggle. Let it be known, I'm a huge charge and slam hater, and I would love to see this. But this is a terrible idea. But also, I think charge and slam is a horrid specialization to begin with. Let me tell you why. Because if you do this to charge and slam, it'll never be played, but if you leave it as it is, it'll be played too much, in my opinion. This is the only specialization in the game that does damage. I think the best thing you can do is what they did for medium and remove charge and slam and add a new specialization. Or just remove it. There's already 3 on heavy. I don't think it needs charge and slam. Sniper should one-shot medium. I don't know what this would do for balancing. And if they were to do this, I still think it should 3-shot the medium in the chest. In a way, I like this because it would make headshots a lot more valuable on the sniper. But in another way, you could destroy medium teams way too easily. Yes, it's hard to hit a headshot with a sniper rifle. I get that. But also, is it that hard when your whole goal is I'm going to hit the head? And if I hit the head, the medium's gone? I don't know about that one. As much as I like this because I play sniper, I actually do think this would be a little too strong. Heavy, medium, light should be forced, or at least no double ults. And I specified with them ults, he meant specialization. So if you're running triple medium, you have to run one of each specialization. I think heavy, medium, light being forced in ranked would be interesting in terms of there'd be a lot more engaging fights and people that specialize in certain things like light, medium, and heavy. The teams that you get wouldn't hate you as much if you did play light, medium/heavy. But in my experience, role queue, like in Overwatch, just didn't really work. It made certain queues way longer than others. I don't know how different it would be in the finals because I feel like all 3 classes are very well loved by the community. So I couldn't tell you exactly how it would end up going, but I don't think role queue is the play. In terms of triple specializations, I think maybe that's a good idea because that way they can make heal beam a little stronger than what it is now. Yeah, no, I could see the triple spec being different. But the problem with that is you might get angry if someone takes your specialization. And that's another problem with role queue. It's another type of role queue. So I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. So I'll say a hot and a mild take, okay? hot and mild. I don't like the heavy, medium, light one, but I kind of like the specialization one. They should ban 95% of the people in the finals feedback channel. The amount of suggestions that are there are pure garbage and shouldn't even be looked at with how bad they are. A little outside time should do them good. Very funny. Very funny. I assume you don't mean a ban in the finals. I assume you mean a ban from the finals feedback channel. I kind of like the idea of this because there's a lot of bad ones, but I think in order to get a more accurate take on what people think of the game in terms of feedback, instead of 1 hour for the feedback slow time, I think a week. I know how wild that sounds, but 1 week you get one take at the game. That way it slows it down a heap and the devs can actually take time to look at proper ones, and the game feedback channel isn't just filled with shit. At the moment, it is just filled with shit. Terrible, horrid opinions. And I assume the devs glance at it sometimes and go, wow, what the fuck is this? It's filled to the brim with it. And because it's so frequently, and because you're so frequently able to post in it, I think that creates a big problem. Once a week, I think, it would be a really, really good way to post in the game feedback channel. As wild as that sounds, I still think that's a great idea. But banning altogether, I don't know about that one. Okay, before we end the video there, I'm going to give a huge shout out to Anthony. This lad, during last stream, gifted me 11 members. Huge, man. Very huge. This really helps me grow my channel and gives me a lot more motivation to work on my channel. So the more members, the better. Really, really, really appreciate it, lads. Here are all the members that are currently linked to my channel. And if you're a tier 2 or a tier 3, I'll give you a shout out, and I'll also do a VOD review and a bunch of other things. Be sure to look at my membership tiers to see what you get. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the finals.